Okay, let's start the webinar. So hopefully everyone can see my screen. And again, this webinar is Discovering Campus Groups. Just a few housekeeping messages. We are recording this webinar, and it will be shared with all the participants after the session. So again, if you have to leave early, uh, don't feel you have to stay through the whole thing. We'd like you to, but the meeting will be recorded. And the Q&A box is also open as well. So as we're going through the presentation, if you have any questions at all, we are leaving time at the end for Q&A. So if our presenters don't answer them during the allotted time, we will read out the questions at the end. So again, use the Q&A feature within the Zoom application. So let me introduce myself. So I'm Christine Hall, VP of Sales Operations here at Ready Education. I've been with the company for about 18 months now, and prior to that, I actually came from Anthology. So if some of you are engaged customers, I probably know your platform very, very well. So again, if there's any questions in particular, please again use the Q&A if you have direct questions. Again, I know the platform along with, I'll let Dr. MK Tyler introduce herself, but she also knows several engagement platforms as well. And then we also have Tina Michalowski, who will speak at the end, who's the Vice President of Client Experience as well. So between the three of us, we have a broad background. And like I said, I'll let MK and Tina introduce themselves right before they start talking within their sections. So just a little bit about Ready Education. If you don't know anything about us, our sole mission and our only application is Campus Groups, and we provide the platform that students use every single day to be successful. So if you think of students that are actually starting out their day, we not only combine club and org experiences, but we also can combine a full schedule for the student as well. So things including classroom events coming over from the LMS, SIS, and then also obviously the clubs and orgs as well. So as you go through the presentation with Dr. MK Tyler, you're going to be able to see the application in action. And you will also be able to see how other institutions are utilizing our platform. And just to throw some logos up there so you don't think, we don't have customers. We actually are trusted by over 700 institutions. And this is just a smattering of some of our larger ones, but we actually go the gambit where we have small clients and also large clients as well. So don't think if you're not seeing somebody that you associate here with, we do have, like I said, 700 clients and institutions. So again, with that, I am going to actually stop presenting and I'm going to turn it over because you don't want to hear from me. You'd rather see the application in action. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. MK Tyler to take over.
Thanks, Christine. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. MK Tyler. I'm a solutions consultant with Ready Education. So I'll be walking you through the platform today, looking at both our web and mobile application. I joined Ready Education at the beginning of the year, but before that, I spent about 10 years working on campuses. For the majority of my career, I was at the University of Memphis working in student leadership and involvement. I spent the last 3 years there as the director of that office. When I was there, I was also running our engagement platform through Anthology Engage. So happy to answer any of those questions of what one item might look like from your current platform, what it might look like in Campus Groups. Today, we're going to start by looking at our mobile application. From there, we're going to jump into our web-based version and look at some of our gamification tools, our group management, our event management, and then some different data and reporting. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I've gone ahead and shared my phone screen here. And what you can see is we're looking at some different applications. Within every single Campus Groups contract, you will have a mobile application. It's not an add-on that you have to choose. It's something that you will get. And what you're going to get is this Campus Groups app here, where students are able to download it, search for your institution name, and then log in with your single sign-on. We also have a custom branding bundle, where if you would like that application to be branded with your school's look, color, name of your platform, and be hosted in your school's app store, you can do that as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our demo site here. And I'm currently logged in as a demo student named Teddy. And what you're seeing is our mobile application. Everything on here, the color, the icons, the resources that you're seeing can all be branded to meet your institution's brand standards. And we're going to go through this page a little bit. On this home page, you'll notice we have some different key campus resources across the top in these tiles. You can have up to 5 that students can search between, really good for things like dining hours, a shuttle tracker, or even your final exam schedule or your academic terms. Scrolling down here, we also have that integrated schedule feature that Christine talked about a little bit. You can pull in information that shows students' classes and where they are and where they're going to be, but it'll also show students events that they've registered for or meetings that they've made within the site. Next, we have our My Courses section. This My Courses section can pull in information from that LMS. That's going to include things like assignments, grades, quizzes, and discussions that students can complete. Next, we have suggested events. Suggested events are going to show students things that the system thinks they might be interested in based off of information that the student has put in their profile. So Teddy has said he's interested in community service, and so it's matching him with a group that hosts community service events to show him this mulch and mingle event. And then finally, they can see the groups that they're a part of. On this groups that they're a part of, students are able to click in and see the different officers, different group channels to communicate through, as well as upcoming events and any different resources that those campus officers have made available to their group members. Going back to our homepage here, we're going to work through this bottom menu. This is our standard configured bottom menu, but you do have the option to configure it to meet the needs of your specific institution. So we're going to work through these different resources. The next thing you'll see here is this two-way chat feature. This two-way chat largely allows students to connect to each other through a directory that we'll look at in a moment, and then send those communications without having to share their phone number, find each other on social media, or connect via email. The way this works is students send a connection request through our directory, and only after that connection request has been accepted by both parties can they utilize this two-way chat feature. Next, as I'm scrolling up, you'll notice I see and I have some different types of communications as well. And that's because you can utilize this chat feature to be able to communicate to students through the approval process. This would maybe be for events, or organization registration or re-registration, budget requests and approvals, or any workflow that you create in the site. This allows for quick communication with students so you can kind of reduce the need to email back and forth, and all of those communications live within that approval process. Next, we have our feed. And within Campus Groups, we have 2 different types of feeds. We have community feeds and group feeds. Community feeds are managed by you, the site administrators, and can be focused around common themes or just kind of general announcements. Some examples of those here are from Mary and Teddy posting about things to just the general student population, information about Wellness Wednesday or free Scantrons and pencils. We also have group feeds. Group feeds are only visible to members of specific groups. So because I'm logged in as Teddy and he's a member of the Student Government Association, I can see this post from Amy that she's made to them. She's also shared things like the Student Government Association minutes from their past meeting that can be reviewed, and students are able to come in and see this information. This condensed feed where students are able to see things from their group as well as those general announcements means they're not having to go and look in multiple places for information. Next, we have our events. This event section allows students to come and find new events. They could register or view their tickets for events that they've previously registered for, as well as check in attendees for that event if they are a manager or an officer for the specific group hosting this event. And we'll come back to this in a moment. Next, we have groups where students are able to come and see the groups that they're a part of, as well as discover new groups. This can be by specific category that you are able to set, as well as additional features, maybe groups that are suggested for them, groups that a lot of people have joined and are currently very popular, or new groups, or specific categories or types that you've set within your site. Finally, this more menu is where you can really start to shine and give resources to your students. There is a set kind of preset more menu that we'll build out for you, but you can also come in and change the icons and labels of these menus as needed to be able to give students at your institution the resources they need when they need it. The first thing we're going to look at here is that directory feature. So as I scroll down, I can find this directory feature where students are able to come and search for peers with similar maybe interests. They like the same sports or have a same home city, state, country, or shared language. From there, they can send that connection request. And once it is accepted, then students can utilize that two-way chat to chat back and forth. The next thing I want to look at on here is our ID card. This ID card is similar to the event pass that you may have with Engage, but this QR code is used and it's attached to the student's profile within CampusGroups. Students are then able to pull this up from as they're walking up to an event. And then the managers of that event within this same mobile application, they don't have to download a second one. They don't have to type in any passwords or re-log in, can come into this event and click check in attendees. From here, they'll be able to check in attendees by either just checking their name, or they can click scan QR code and check them in utilizing the QR code that we just saw, similar to that event pass opening up their phone camera. The last thing I want to call out on our mobile application here is that while we are looking at this for, kind of a campus-wide use, we also have something called event hubs. Event hubs can be used to replace things like guidebook or point solutions that you're using to really guide students through a specific type of event. So for example, new student orientation. Utilizing this new student orientation event hub, you can have an agenda for the specific event. You can tell students where they need to go. And then you can also have tracks for things like family, guest, or specific student populations. So if I click onto this transfer student session here, you'll notice I have some credit where credit's due. But I could also come into my student athlete portal and they'll have a different event at that time for this NCAA compliance, allowing your students to only ever have to download one app, but you to be able to give them really configured experiences while they are in college. So I'm going to stop sharing my mobile screen now, and we're going to jump into the web version. As we jump into the web version, I just want to remind you that we're going to look at our tracks and checklist, our gamification, as well as some of our group management and our event management. So the first thing we're going to look at is this home page. This home page is completely configurable by you, the site administrators. It's all drag and drop, so you don't have to have kind of a cookie cutter layout that everyone has. You can really make it work for you. We also can show specific resources to specific students based off of tags or information that you put on their profile. So if you wanted to come in and show a specific resource, maybe this doesn't say connect with people through the directory, but it says something about the senior career fair. You could actually come in and make that only visible to the seniors within your site using attributes on those users' profiles. Coming back here, the next thing I want to talk about is our tracks and checklist module. Tracks and checklists allow you to build out a structured engagement system for your students. If you're currently using Paths and Engage, this might look similar. A track is a set of checklists, and a checklist is a set of items that students need to complete to be successful. This can focus around things like leadership development, career development, the NACE career competencies, or even a checklist for things like new student orientation or specific leadership onboarding. These items can be self-checked off where students come in and just say, yep, I did that. You could also tie it back to attending specific events or group membership. So once they join a specific group or have their attendance taken at an event, it's automatically checked off. You could also have students submit information with a form or turn these forms into quizzes that grade themselves. Then you get to say students have to get 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, or 10 out of 10 to be able to have that item checked off. Finally, you can also embed YouTube or Vimeo videos into an item where students have to watch that entire video before they can check it off. I can't check this off right now because I haven't watched all 1 minute and 51 seconds of this video. We see schools using these tracks and checklists for several different things. Like I said, those career development, leadership development, or tracking different requirements on campus. But one of the really unique things about campus groups is you can require the completion of a track or a checklist before students can accept their officer positions in specific roles. That means before they even step foot as president, vice president, secretary, or treasurer, you're giving them the information they need to be successful. And you can confirm that they've learned that with quizzes or additional things that they sign off on. Going back to our homepage now, I want to talk a little bit about ways that you can encourage that engagement. We've looked at these tracks and checklists, so you're saying the what you need to do and how you need to do it. But you also can encourage it through some gamification, like points. Points can be awarded to actions taken within the site. This might be attending specific events, posting on the feed, updating their profile, or logging in on their mobile device. This allows you to create a leaderboard where you can say, here are the students that are super engaged, but you can also see the flip side of that. Students that don't have a lot of points and may not be engaged on campus yet. That allows you to create quicker and swifter ways to be able to go in and intervene with those students before they are too late and they say, you know what, engagement's not for me. We also have campus partners that are using these points almost as a carnival, where students are able to go in and exchange points for prizes, maybe a t-shirt, a water bottle, notebook, things like that, once or twice a year. And you can actually deduct those points that students earn. Finally, the last thing you can do is you can also award badges within the site. Badges can be given for actions taken within the site, like becoming a group administrator, an officer, or even attending specific events. When applicable, you can also pull it to completing a track or a checklist. With those, you can enable a button that says add to LinkedIn, where students are able to click on it and have that language added to their professional profile before they even really start thinking about their next steps after college, giving you that wraparound support for students going into their next step and their next part of their journey. Next, we're going to jump into our group management here. Going on to our group list, you'll notice that we have group registration open. Group registration can be for multiple student group types at once. So here we have it open for student clubs as well as club sports. That's because sometimes with club sports, maybe you need additional questions answered, waivers signed, or coaches identified, or the approval process might include different players on campus, like campus rep. You can have as many group registration processes as you would like, and they're all tied back to that group type. Scrolling down on our group list here, students are able to come in and find a group that's meaningful to them. They can check a box and click join and have that request either reviewed by the group officers or automatically approved and added to the roster of that group. Another thing that makes campus groups unique is you do have the ability to attach into your school's payment gateway. Some popular ones are Transact, TouchNet, PayPal, Stripe, Nelnet, Authorize.net. To allow groups to be able to accept group membership dues straight through your payment gateway, reducing the need for things like Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, or those outside bank accounts. We don't take a cut and we also don't manage this money. We're just connecting this process to your already established and secure payment gateway so groups can accept those funds on behalf of their members into their school's already established payment account. Now we're going to jump into our group management here. Going into our group, I'm looking at this group as if I am a group officer. The first thing we encourage group officers to do is to update their group page. This group page is like the front door of their organization where students can come and see information, maybe the mission, the benefits, the goals, or even upcoming events or any resources that the group officers have made public for their group members. You can also see different posts on that group feed. Going back into our group dashboard now, we're going to look at some of the tools that your group officers have to be successful. Every square that you see on this page is a different tool that your group officers will have in their tool belt to be successful. And we're going to look at some of the most common ones here. The first is this membership list. This membership list allows groups to come in and add members kind of one by one, or they could paste a full list of email addresses and add them in bulk. From here, they can also search members by, membership tag or user tags. This also allows you as site administrators, if you wanted to have a group with all of your student population in it, to start to send really targeted communication to your student body. You could come in and say, I want to message maybe just the students in the College of Business. From here, you can send push notifications or emails to those students, allowing the emails that students get to be meaningful to them and also reducing the number of emails they may receive overall. Utilizing this email builder, you can build more than just a plain text email. You have the ability to come in and make email templates or choose from one of ours. And in here, you can all drag and drop different information into your email. You can pull in dynamic information like group officers, but my personal favorite is this event details button here. When you pull in this event details button, it allows you to choose events that are already approved in the site to include in your newsletter or your email that's going out. It's going to automatically pull in the picture, the name, the question, the location, or in all of the descriptions in a bright green RSVP button. You can schedule this to be sent or send it at that time. And after you send that email, you'll get some analytics on it, like how many people received the email, the open rate, the total number of clicks, and if anyone unsubscribed. And if you want to get really granular on it, you can click into this email and see specifically who opened it, as well as what they clicked on. Going back to our group dashboard now, I'm going to spend some time looking at our surveys and forms. Surveys and forms are kind of the backbone of our approval processes and our workflows within CampusGroups. They can be made to collect information through a survey or form, but you can also host group and school-wide elections, create quizzes, as well as build job applications. With every job, within every CampusGroups contract, you will have an internal job application board, really great for things like on-campus jobs, undergraduate research, or long-standing volunteer opportunities to be posted on the site. When creating a form, you can also add in different logics to questions. This means if someone answers a question a specific way, then you get to pull in a specific workflow step, or you're showing different questions. So if they say they need a custom topic, then maybe you ask them a little bit more information. Or if they want something from career services, then you're pulling in the career development staff to plan that. These custom logics allow you to really make a unique workflow so things do not have to kind of get backlogged and users can review things as needed. On our group dashboard now, we're going to jump into budgets. Budgeting allows allows your groups to come in and request funds either on a semester by semester basis, event by event, as well as request those payments. Within CampusGroups, you can build out a budget where students say, here are the line items of the request I have, similar to this Fall Fest one here, where we're requesting things like food and drink, money for marketing, supplies, and then answering additional questions in the form. Once that goes through a review and approval process, it'll look something similar to this. Most notably, it'll say that the funding has been either partially or fully provided or not provided at all, and have this done button checked. Once that done button has been checked, students are able to come in and actually request a payment straight off of that specific line item. So you're not having to guess how much money are they spending from where or how it aligns with their already proposed budget. This allows students to see what was originally approved, what's been requested, and then how much money they would have if everything that has been requested was approved. So they know exactly where they stand throughout that system. Finally, the last thing I want to call out on this group dashboard is this events button. If students wanted to create events, they could come in to their events and click this create event button right here. But before we do that, I want to kind of start with the end in mind. So that means we're going to start on this event page and work backwards. This events page allows students to come and see any event that they would like to register for. As site administrators, you will always be able to see every event happening within your campus group instance. But for students, that might not be the case. And that's because when you are creating events within CampusGroups, you can actually say what students can see what event. And it's more than just group members or some members. You can do it by user attributes, like if they're a first-year student, a second-year student, if they're living on campus or off campus or a specific college. From this event page, they'll be able to see some event details. They can see the description, how many people have registered, and where that event's taking place. They can also register for the event. And registration in campus groups is more than just a one-click registration. It can range from that one-click registration where you're getting kind of that number of people that you need to know so you can have the right number of supplies. Or you can add in additional questions. Maybe students, you're asking if they need any specific accommodations, a dietary restriction, or a t-shirt size. You can also work working with your payment gateway to sell tickets for some of your largest events, meaning you can have the full life cycle management of that event, your largest events within campus groups, and not have to send students to a third-party platform for those events that may be ticketed. On this registration, you'll also notice that we have students and guests. And that's because you can have multiple registration options and you can allow users that don't have full access to your site, like guests, still be able to purchase and register for events without having to have a student needing to do that for them. Finally, you can also attach a waiver into an event registration process, meaning students have to fill out and sign this waiver before they can register for the event. So you no longer have to stand there with paper forms between the really fun thing and the students, asking them to sign those waivers. Jumping into our event management now, I'm going to look at this as if I was a officer of this specific group. Here I can see how many people have registered, the total number of the people that have checked in or checked out or have decided to no-show. You can also see those registration options and add in new options as well. And then down here, I can see my attendee list. From this attendee list, I can send a push notification reminding my users of the upcoming event or send a full email using that email builder we just looked at. You'll also have access to the event dashboard. This event dashboard is going to give you statistics on registration, check-ins, attendance rates, account types, and years of graduation for people that have registered for your event, as well as how long registration has taken place. Scrolling down a little bit, you can also see different statistics on how check-in had taken place. And while we've looked at check-in with the mobile application, you also are going to have the ability to check in students a few different ways. You have that mobile application with the QR code, but you also can track attendance with a card swipe that you plug into a computer, or a self-check-in QR code where students come and they scan this code with their phone and check themselves in. And when it's appropriate, you can also display this on a digital screen that then allows this to refresh every 30 seconds, meaning the people that are checking in are in the room and they're not able to take a picture of it and send it to their friend who might want that attendance record, but might not actually want to come to that event. Finally, you can also turn a laptop or a tablet into a self-check-in kiosk where students are able to swipe their ID or type in their name to check themselves in and out of the event. If push comes to shove and you have students that write their name and email addresses down on a piece of paper, you can always come in and paste a list of those email addresses or ID numbers and add those users by bulk afterwards. Jumping into this edit mode here, this is what it looks like when students click that create an event button. We need some details to be able to populate the event within the site, and those are marked with a star here. That event name, description, event type. You also can have students identify their event coordinator and then other people that they want to help check in attendance, utilizing those team members feature. We also have the ability to have reoccurring events where students are able to choose multiple dates as they're creating those events. Finally, within this page, we can integrate with EMS and 25 Live where students are able to come in and click book room and choose from rooms that are available within your EMS or 25 Live instance. Next, you can also click and choose who can be and see these events, who's allowed to register, and who can also see them. When creating this event, you can also set custom RSVPs and reminders that are sent out to users either an hour before the event or 7 days before the event. From here, you can include things like don't forget to wear closed-toed shoes or bring a notebook and a pen and paper. You can also have a personalized email confirmation that students and users receive the moment they register for that event. The last thing I want to call out on this page is our feedback request options. Our standard option, if you have it checked, will send a feedback request in 24 hours. If you don't do anything, it's going to send 5 stars, and a comment box where people can rank your events and give you a little bit of information. But if you want to get more granular, you can choose if it goes out at the end of the event all the way up to 48 hours after the event. You also can add in a survey or form with additional questions, meaning if you have a set of questions that align with a strategic plan or maybe your student affairs directives, you can actually add that survey or form to as many events as you would like, as long as that event is being hosted by the same group. And then you're able to download that data in one fell swoop without having to go event by event. If I were to click Save and Proceed to approve form here, I'll see every additional question that you've added into your approval process. That brings me to our approval processes and what it looks like. We've seen events, we've seen groups, and everything that we've seen so far has been approved by someone in the site. And that is through our approval processes. Approval processes can be made for group registration or re-registration and be set to go on a kind of annual basis. You also can do event request. An event request can be used by event group type. So if you want to include residence life, or maybe the RAs are requesting things by their floors, and that approval process looks different than maybe student organizations versus departments. You no longer have to have a one-size-fits-all event request with a lot of reviewers. It can get very granular, and you can show the people that need to review the events that they need to see without having to send them everything. Clicking into this approval process now, we're going to look at it for an event, but this also is going to look similar for budgets as well as those organization registration and re-registration. And as I'm looking at this, you'll notice this one says step 1 out of 2, and this one says step 1 out of 3, and this one says step 1 out of 4. And that's because within these processes, you're using form logic to pull in the reviewers as needed. Meaning that if someone says they want to have food, then you're pulling in catering. But if they say no to food, then you don't even need to send or bring that team into this process. Here's an example of what one of those workflows can look like. From here, if I was Joseph, Teddy, or David, I would get an email that says you need to log in and review an approval. From here, I could open the submission, see different answers in here, and then start to make some decisions. The first thing I could do is I could chat with just the submitter. Maybe you have a question or need a little bit of clarity. And again, all of these chats are going to live within this submission. So you're not going to have to worry about if someone goes on vacation and there's an email. All of it is done right within this one process. You also can chat with everyone involved in the workflow and the submitter. Really great if you know that a question is going to come up time and time again. And then finally, you can chat with everyone involved in the workflow, but not the submitter. Really great if you want to talk about university policy and making sure that everything is being followed broadly and appropriately. From here, you could approve the process and move it forward, or you could send it back for modifications. So you're not saying, hey, this is rejected, but we just need you to add a little bit more information. Or you could reject the submission. In the case of events, it's usually because the university is closed or they're not allowed to have an event during that time. And again, while we're looking at this as an event approver, this can also be used for group registration, re-registration, budgets, payments, or any form that you create in the site that you would like to have a workflow for. Finally, as we're wrapping up, I want to talk about the different ways that you can get data out of the site. On the group level, you'll be able to download some different group reports. This includes things like event attendance or number of members you might have in common with other groups. From the admin section, you can download things off of any of these different left-hand menus: users, groups, emails. You can come in and use different filters and generate a report. Additionally, we have some advanced reporting features. This allows you to have a report library of pre-curated reports already built for you that you just add parameters around. You also can use our report builder. This report builder allows you to come in and say, I want to build a report about maybe event attendance. When you choose that, it then pulls in all of the event attendance records from the entire site. You're then able to choose what columns you want visible. So if you don't need maybe event name, tags, end date, or start time, you could remove those. You could also rearrange these different columns and click Save. This then changes those different columns for you, and then you're able to add in additional filters, whether that be about the event, the users that attended, or the groups that are hosting those specific events. After you've created this very custom report, you can then download it as a CSV file, or you can save this view to be able to come back and download that report with the most up-to-date information in the future. Finally, we also have some trends in reports dashboards here. This dashboard allows you to come and see trends based off of a set period of time, maybe a semester, a year, or all-time data. You're able to see things like logins, trends on events or emails, or you can click into these different resources up here, like users, groups, emails, events, and get more in the weeds or granular on these different reports. And then finally, why this data is really important to you as faculty and staff. But I want to think a little bit about why this might be important to your students. And that's because if they're tracking all of this stuff within campus groups, they also are going to have a co-curricular transcript of verified experiences that they've completed. And as we know, as student affairs professionals, a lot of the things that students do outside of the classroom can reinforce what they're learning in the classroom or help them make decisions based off of careers or next steps for their future. This co-curricular transcript can show a group list, event information or key events that they've attended, key badges they've earned, checklist completion, as well as service hours that they've tracked through the site. And service hours can be tracked either through external experiences and verified by those external users or attached to specific events that are already created in the site. Finally, group members can also add in additional experiences to their co-curricular transcripts that may not fit some of those first categories that we've looked at. I'd like to thank you so much. This is kind of a broad overview of campus groups. Next, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Tina to talk to you about implementation and next steps, as well as to host the Q&A. Thank you so much.
Thank you, MK. And everybody, thank you so much for attending today. Let me share my screen here, and then we'll finish this up. We're almost to the 45-minute mark, so I'll be mindful of everyone's time today. So essentially and first of all, let me step back. My name is Tina Michalowski. I am our Vice President of Client Experience. So I oversee our client success team, our implementation team, and our support team. So very excited to work with you once you do become a client of ours to ensure that you do see success. So with implementation, we're looking at around 10 to 12 weeks for that implementation process. As Dr. MK Tyler had told you, throughout implementation, we will work with you to ensure that the site is getting set up the way you need it to be. We'll ensure if you did purchase the branded app that we get you connected with our integrations team in order to be able to get that up and running. But essentially, there'll be a variety of tasks that you'll be assigned throughout the implementation process to really meet that 10 to 12 week timeline. The folks that are involved with implementation, you will have an assigned project manager who will ensure that one-to-one success to keep you on track. So within that component, you will have a series of trainings along with a series of tasks that you'll be assigned to complete implementation. And during that point, you will either work with the integrations team, depending upon integrations that you have. And then from there, you'll be launched to customer success, where you will be assigned a client success manager. This person will be your contact for best practices, adoption, renewals, expansion to other areas of the platform. So you will have a point person, not only from day one in implementation, but through your entire customer journey here at Ready Education. One of the other important questions that we always get is, what does your support look like? What does technical support look like and product support? So we do have a support team here that is accessible to you all once you're out of implementation. So there's a variety of ways that you can reach out to that team. So we do have a knowledge base for those days when you're working in the site and maybe you need an answer to something, you have real-time access to the knowledge base at any point. We also do have the number that you can call and leave a message and someone will return your call. We also have an email as well. So there's a variety of touch points that we do give you, so you don't need to feel like you're not supported and you're not getting the answers you need quickly. So just know between your client success manager after implementation and then our support team, that you are fully supported, as we do truly take the success of your institution as a whole to be our utmost important, because with that we're looking to really partner with our clients for success stories and different areas on campus. We are really looking to be able to truly have you part of the family and not just another client, right? Using our solution. So we're excited and definitely look forward to hopefully serving you all in the future. With that, I know we're really tight on time, so I want to bring folks back on and we will go through some Q&A. But thank you so much for listening to the presentation.
Yeah, great presentation. Thank you, MK and Tina. So we do have a couple questions that came through on the Q&A, and I think the first one, MK, I'm going to have you probably do it. So you started in the mobile app, and the question is that included?
Excuse me. Yes. The mobile app is included with your contract. It's going to be the standard CampusGroups app. So you can direct your students to downloading the CampusGroups app. When they download that, they'll search for your institution name. They can log in with your single sign-on. And once they're logged in, it will be branded to meet your institution's brand standards, colors, icons. There is a custom branding module that allows you to have that icon or that app be hosted in your university or institution's app store. This also will allow you to have a custom URL, custom email addresses for any emails that are sent out on behalf of your site, as well as a few other things within the site. So both are really great opportunities to look for. It really just depends on how you want to surface that application to your students.
Okay. All right. The next question, and I think this might be Tina and maybe MK again. We're currently on Engage. How many clients have you converted, and is there a migration strategy?
I can take that. Christine, keep me honest here. I believe we have around 100 clients that we have converted from Engage. Essentially, migration for the platform, you would work closely with our project manager to be able to take a look at the events and the data components, and we'll work with you to see what we would be able to migrate within the system. MK, I don't know if you want to dive deeper into that, but we have actively worked with about 100 clients who have migrated over.
Yeah, absolutely. And so just kind of build on that. There are, I know that the idea of transitioning to a new platform can be really daunting because you say, you look at it and you're like, we have all this historical information. A lot of that you can pull over in bulk. You would likely start with pulling over the groups that you want to be pre-populated. It's one Excel file that you can download out of your current system and upload into our new system. Once you've established that, you can create different positions, standard positions, that then allows you to update those members straight into those groups. So that means your students aren't logging into something that's blank. So that is a really great way to do that. Additionally, if you have any events that are already created in your system for the future year, you can upload those in bulk too and associate them with specific groups with those settings needed. So again, they're not going to have to do double work. Your students aren't. You would just kind of move it all over in mass. And then hopefully you could align that as well with a registration or re-registration period where your students are able to come in and upload their new logo, put in their constitution, things like that, to really help you kind of finalize and round out that site.
Okay. All right. I think we have time for one more question. You touched a little bit on service hours. What can you tell me about service hours, MK, and how clients are using those, your current clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I really love our service hours feature because it allows you to do a few things. The first is you can list events within your campus group instance as service hour events. And so when you do that, students are able to go in and register for them. You can also make different time slots. So if it's kind of an ongoing service event for the entire day, they could register for specific time periods. After that event has concluded, you can also apply service hours straight to their co-curricular transcript. But then for events that are hosted outside of the site, maybe students go and they find a nonprofit in your community, they could come in and track their own service experiences and put in that external user, that external verifier. So when I was in college, I volunteered a lot at the Ronald McDonald House. And so I could put in a Ronald McDonald House member that was managing those volunteers, and they could verify those hours for me within the site, meaning that they don't have to get a piece of paper signed or bring it to your service learning office. All of it can be done in one place.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you. I think that's it for the questions. And I just want to let everybody know, thank you. Happy holidays coming up. Thank you for spending 45 minutes with us getting to know campus groups. And we will be following up with you with obviously the recording. And then my team will be following up if there's any additional questions. And with that, I think we'll close out the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.